My name is Randy Bigley. Joining me right now, we're going to talk about the Symposium, the Harding Presidential Symposium coming up. Sherry Hall's with me from the Harding Presidential Sites, right? Did I say that right?
That's right, you said it right.
Harding, which is a neat place over in Marion. If you've never been there, you got to get over there. It's a kind of one, I always say it's like one of the best kept secrets over there, isn't it?
Well, we're trying not to make it a secret.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, if you haven't checked it out, get over there. But we're going to talk about the Symposium, which how many years have you guys been doing this now?
Since, if I'm correct, since 2010,
Wow.
a couple weirdo years during the pandemic, but we tackle some different theme every single year,
Yeah.
and this year's no different. Our theme this year is Taft, Wilson, and Harding, First Ladies of Consequence.
Okay, sure, yeah.
So really concentrating on, and actually there's two Wilson First Ladies. There was Ellen, and she died while Wilson was in office, and then he remarries.
Okay.
But really concentrating more on the second one, who is Edith Wilson. But trying to peel away the layers and introduce these ladies to our audience.
Very cool, yeah, and it's very interesting, the First Ladies. So you guys have done First Ladies before, haven't you? Or is this the first time?
We have touched on the First Ladies, but we really are zeroing in on the women who were right before Florence, and including Florence Harding. This is kind of a big year for her anyway. This is the 100th year since her death.
Wow, okay, yeah. 100 years already.
100 years.
Oh
So
my gosh, yeah.
in November, on the anniversary of that day, we will be doing a hybrid program for the sites about Florence, concentrating on the years, on just the 15 months, really, between Warren's death and hers.
So she didn't last much longer after
She
Warren
did
died.
not.
Really?
She was sick with chronic kidney disease, but nobody really knows what happened to her after he died, and that's what we're going to concentrate on.
How old was she when she passed?
She was 64.
Really? So she wasn't very old, really?
No.
No. Wow, that's pretty young. Yeah, the closer I get to that,
It moves the mark. It moves the mark.
It does. It sure does. It does. And if someone's never been to the Symposium, what is it all about, and how do you do it?
Yeah. So the Symposium is a chance for new scholarship about a subject to be explored, and it is a joint effort between the Harding Presidential Sites, Ohio State University, Marion, and the Ohio History Connection. It's a chance for us to delve deeply into a myriad of subjects that we've done over the years. It always has to do with the presidency. Warren's always part of the story too. We have done scandals, we have done the media and the presidency. We're not afraid to go anywhere with this.
Yeah.
And then we fit together other presidents, other stories that might fit with that theme. So it's a lot of fun to work on. It's a lot of work that goes into it, but hopefully, people will take advantage of this. It's unusual to have this kind of scholarship presented in, a town that's relatively small like Marion. You would normally go to a more metropolitan area. So it's really something to take advantage of.
And you bring people from all around too. You haven't
We
you?
do.
Yeah,
Usually we bring people from about 10 states. But if you're right here in the Marion Bucyrus area, well, it's just up the road.
Sure, yeah.
So, I encourage people to take advantage of this.
Oh, of course, yeah. And now, is it something that can you pick and choose what you want to go to, or how's that work?
Yeah, July 12th is the deadline for registration. The event itself is that weekend of July 19th and 20th. So keep that date, July 12th, in mind. That's when you've got to have your registration in. The best deal financially is a whole package ticket, but you don't have to do that. You can do things a la carte and kind of pick the events you're interested in. So let me give you kind of a snapshot of what that weekend looks like. July 19th, we always have our opening reception, and that is at the Harding Presidential Library, which, again, if you haven't been there, we just opened it in 21. So it's the newest presidential library and museum in the country until the Obama one is open for business. At that, it's a more casual event, so we have really good food available. Then we're opening up our entire site that night. It's 6:30 to 8:30. So you can go through the Harding home, and if you say, well, I did that years ago, it doesn't look the same. We have restored it to its 1920 appearance. We did that at the same time that we were building the new presidential library. So there's lots of new things to see. They are not formal tours that night. They're what we call kind of station tours, or more of an open house feel. We'll have our staff at different locations in the home, but you can kind of go through at your leisure. We have a temporary exhibit at the press house about Florence that will be opening for the symposium. As I said, great food and drinks in the presidential library. And then from 7:30 to 8:30, we're having a panel discussion. I'm calling it the Descendants Panel, and we have descendants of each of these first ladies.
Oh, wow, okay.
So really interesting. The Nellie Taft's great-grandson, he was involved, Governor Bob Taft. Now he's going to be out of the country then, so we have already recorded his interview. And Edith Wilson, her grandnephew, is involved in this. His name is Kerry Fuller. He lives in Washington, D.C. He, too, couldn't be here in person, so we're improvising. He's already interviewed. And what's interesting about him is he grew up knowing Edith Wilson. Edith lives till 1961.
Okay.
So he knows her very well until he starts college. So he said that she was like a second grandmother to him. So, and then for Florence Harding, as far as her direct descendants, there isn't anybody that's really involved in the site or knows a lot about her. So two members of the Harding family that folks know pretty well by now, Dr. Richard and Dr. Warren Harding, will be representing her. And it's not unusual by any stance, because Florence really was taken into the Harding family. She became very close with them, and the Harding family is remarkably good at kind of passing down that family history. They have lots of family stories to tell about Florence and her interaction with some of their family members. And that's what that's all about. It's giving us the inside story. What were these women like beyond being First Lady? What were they like on an everyday basis? And I think people will find this really interesting. Descendants of all three of those First Ladies had some great stories to tell.
I bet, yeah.
And so that's kind of introducing these First Ladies to our audience for the first time. The next morning we have the annual presidential wreath laying at the Harding Memorial. That's a free event for anybody to come to. It's a very poignant event. It happens at every presidential gravesite each year. The President of the United States, whoever is the sitting president, has a brigadier general represent him. And we come to the gravesite, and it's a thank you for the service of that president. We took things a couple years ago a bit further. We present a wreath for Florence because we know how much she contributed to the Harding administration as well. It's a short half-hour type of ceremony, but if you've never heard taps played inside the Harding Memorial and that echo, every year it gets me. It's a wonderful ceremony that is very special to our area. And then what we call the workshops start at 1 o'clock, and those are at OSUM, and those are the real in-depth sessions about each of these First Ladies. And then I can get into the speakers for those in just a minute. And then at 6:30 we wrap up things with our gala dinner, also on the OSUM campus. So it's really tactful.
Yeah, yes, it sounds like it's very much. So if someone wants to get tickets for that, how can they do that? your
Well,
reservations?
online, you can, if you just actually go to Google Harding Symposium, you'll find it. But it is go.osu.edu /Harding. You can also get to it off of the Harding Presidential Sites website, which is hardingpresidentialsites.org. There is a link to that registration. If you don't want to register, you're not good at operating the computer, or you don't want to do it that way, there's a phone number you can call and do it over the phone.
Okay.
That phone number is 740-725-6340. So several different ways you can register. And like I said, you can register for the whole thing. The full package, which is the reception, the workshops, and the dinner, is $150. And then if you just want the reception only, that's $40. Workshop sessions only, that's $75, or just the dinner, it's $50.
So 150 gets you all that, right?
It gets you all
That's
of it.
quite a bit.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It
So
is.
a lot of yeah, that's quite a bit for $150.
It is.
Yeah. For what you're getting and the yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, and you're right. It's the
Yeah.
it's the quality of it too.
Sure, right.
Our lineup of speakers for Saturday afternoon is pretty stellar. And I can touch on that.
Yeah,
if
go
you
ahead,
want to. The first session is, well, I give an introduction to the whole thing, but then the first one is about Taft. So we go in chronological order according to when these women lived in history. That is Dr. Raphael Fierro. He wrote a book called Heron Taft, Forgotten Impact of a Memorable First Lady. He has received his doctorate in history from the University of Connecticut, and that's where he teaches. So he's written this book about Nellie Taft, so that'll be a fascinating session. And then we have Edith Wilson. Rebecca Boggs Roberts is our speaker. Now, if some of your listeners may have heard of Cokie Roberts, a stellar journalist around the Washington area for many years. She has since passed away. This is her daughter, Rebecca.
Okay.
And she wrote a book called Untold Power, The Fascinating Rise and Complex Legacy of First Lady Edith Galt Wilson. I'm about 2/3 through this book. I've learned a lot about Edith Wilson. I didn't know a lot about her. And she is the one that is always said to have run the country secretly when Woodrow Wilson had his strokes. I'm thinking about it a little differently as I used to after reading this book about Edith's state of mind at the time and how she perceived her role as First Lady. And I'm not going to say anything more than that because I want people to really take a new look at Edith Wilson. They might be surprised. Now, I'm going to have both of these books available for sale in the gift shop of the Harding Presidential Sites. If anyone's interested in picking up a copy, I don't have them yet, but I have ordered them. If you want to read one or both first before the symposium, we'll have them on sale.
Okay.
And then our last session is about Florence Harding. John Anderson is going to do that, and he's been a researcher at the Harding sites for quite a number of years.
He's a unique researcher.
He is a very unique researcher.
Yeah.
We actually research very much alike. And he gets down into...
I was going to say, he's a hands-on researcher, I would say.
He's a hands-on researcher.
He sure is, yeah.
And I thought he deserved a crack at a big session this year.
Oh, yeah.
He's earned it. He is a graduate of Baldwin Wallace University, and in real life he is a chef. I don't know why, but that gives him a unique perspective on history. History, you know, we tend to attack at the Harding sites in a myriad of different ways. He's putting together a really interesting session about Florence.
Good.
And then our director of the symposium is Gary Imes, and he'll be doing the concluding remarks. And then I'll be doing the keynote speech at the dinner that night, kind of bringing the whole thing together, but I'll be concentrating on the legacy of Florence Harding mostly.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
It is.
Yes.
That's great, though. Yeah. Like I said, I mean, this is something you see in bigger cities and stuff, not in like the size of Marion. And this is very unique for Marion.
It
Ohio.
is.
Yeah.
It is a very unique thing. It's, when you hear the comments from people who come from other states, who are like, wow, you're doing all this here. We want our locals to also take advantage of this too, because it's something that you just don't find on your doorstep.
Right.
Like this is being presented. So, and then I wanted to put just a little plug in. If you are a member of the Friends of W.G. Harding, there's a special brunch on Sunday at noon at the presidential sites. It's free if you are a member, and it's our way of saying thank you for your support. If you are not a member, that's okay. You can come too. It's $20, and you can register for that online on our tickets system on the Ohio or the Harding Presidential Sites website, or give us a call and you can register for that as well. Or if you become a member, then it's free for you.
Wow. So become a member.
Become a member.
There you
There's
go.
no
I was
downside.
going to say, it's no doubt. That's the easiest way to become a member.
And you get a free meal.
There you go. See, you can't beat that, can
I
you?
know.
And you can do that by going to your website, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Or give us a call. Our phone number, our 800 number is 800-600-6894.
All right. Sherry Hall, again, if you want to get tickets to the symposium, or I see reservations for anything, how do you do that?
You go to go.osu.edu/Harding, or you can get a link to it from the hardingpresidentialsites.org website, or you may call and do it all over the phone if you like at 740-725-6340.
All right, Sherry, it's so good to see you again. I know you and I go back a little ways.
We do,
so.
and this feels very good to see you again and talk.
Same here, and you were my favorite guest when I was on the other stations. I always love hearing about. We used to call it the Harding Home, and now it's the Harding Sites because during that time you expanded quite a bit.
We have expanded a lot. It's really a new site. We don't do our procedures the same way that we used to, and there's so much to do. Not only a tour of the home, but we've got a wonderful museum. We do a lot of programs. Thursday night we're doing a silent movie night.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Just a real simple program. We're going to do it inside because this weather is so unpredictable.
Right.
I'm finalizing the choice for the movie. I'll make that final decision today, but it's drama week this week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we provide you popcorn. It's a free event.
Can't beat that, can you?
It's just fun. We had a lot of fun a couple weeks ago.
Good.
We did Buster Keaton. It was comedy night.
Oh, yeah. I love Buster Keaton. Yeah.
So we did that and had a lot of fun. And so it's drama night on Thursday night at 7:30.
Sounds like fun. Sounds like a plan. Again, if you haven't checked the memorial either, there's just a feeling when you go to that memorial. This is no exaggerating. It's just kind of a feeling when you go there, isn't it? It's a beautiful place.
It has never looked prettier.
Oh, yeah.
It really hasn't. My facility supervisor, Joe Gruber, that's his baby. We have redone all of the landscaping. We did it in several stages over the last 3 years or so, and we really freshened it up. Still within the keeping of the original plans for it. We can't just do what we feel like down there. It's just a beautiful, impressive place, and I'll tell you, if you could hear the comments from our out-of-state, out-of-town visitors who cannot believe such a majestic structure is in Marion.
Yeah.
We're so used to seeing it.
Right, yeah.
We go by it all the time, but I like to look at our town and this area through the eyes of visitors. And there's a lot to see and a lot to be proud of.
Yeah, there sure is. Marion's got a lot to be proud of over there. And I saw it the last few years how Marion's come back, and it's very cool. I love it.
A lot going on.
A lot going on. Thank you so much, Sherry.
You're welcome.
Thank you.